Triple venti, half whole milk, 1/4 1%, 1/4 non-fat, extra hot, split quad shots, no foam latte with whipped, 2 packets of Splenda, 1 sugar in the raw, a touch of vanilla syrup, and 3 short sprinkles of cinnamon. If that sounds like your coffee order, then you don't deserve your own mother's love. Worse yet, you're not going to find anyone with enough patience to make that monstrosity for you outside of a Starbucks. So if you love coffee, hate gimmicks, and want to drink a delicious cup of joe on top of a mountain you just climbed, then you want the Java Can, an all-in-one coffee brewing system designed by a Green Beret to make it possible to brew the finest cup of coffee anywhere on planet Earth. Use offer code AAR and get 10% off your purchase. Just go to thejavacan.com, enter promo code AAR, get 10% off, and brew your favorite cup of coffee wherever you go. Live life charged. Sea Bag Locker Coffee. So if you're an Army or Air Force vet, you're probably wondering what a sea bag is. Well, that's Navy talk for a duffel bag. That's right, a sea bag is a duffel bag, but for the ocean. Sea Bag Locker Coffee, though, is unlike anything else. Their mercenary blend is my personal favorite. Roast to your cup as fast as 4 days. So drop your anchor at theseabaglocker.com, use promo code AAR, and get 10% off your purchase of Sea Bag Locker Coffee. Fill up that sea bag, you dirty landlubbers, with the best tasting, freshest coffee this side of the 7 seas. www.theseabaglocker.com.
And now, the After Action Review with Rod Rodriguez.
And welcome to the After Action Review podcast. I'm your host, Rod Rodriguez. Now, continuing this week's focus on hunger, we're going to turn our focus to the great place, Fort Hood, Texas, a relatively good-looking post located in the city of Killeen, a city ranked 9th most dangerous city in Texas. That's right, putting the kill back in Killeen. Violence, poverty, and hunger feed into each other, making a city that should be prosperous through its military partnerships fail its citizens, to include its military veterans. John Valentine, a retired U.S. Army First Sergeant who's made it his goal to help the community of soldiers and veterans of Killeen through its nonprofit, Operation Phantom Support, is on the show. What sets this organization apart from others is that it isn't a food pantry handing out your leftover canned goods, and it is not some type of free handout. Let's face it, no one really wants to be part of either one of those situations. What John and OPS have done is create a super low-cost buy-in program that allows families to pick up grocery store quality food, to include fresh vegetables and fruit with dignity and respect. They not only help feed our military community, but they also provide amazing services that make up their core values. I'm going to let John explain the rest of the amazing work that they are doing at OPS. Ladies and gentlemen, John Valentine.
All right, so I'm John Valentine, John Nicholas Valentine III, if you want to get technical. Spent 20 years in the U.S. Army as a combat engineer and then turned into a medic / mental health guy. Did 20 years, did over 7 deployments, went all over the world, did a lot of great things, held a lot of positions in the Army, squad leader, team leader, platoon sergeant, first sergeant. So very well-rounded in the enlisted side of the Army. Retired in 2010. And then worked a couple jobs when I got out, and then decided to kind of change my passion to what I wanted to do, which was kind of pay it forward to the guys and gals that are still serving, and then try to take care of all the veterans that are out there in our community that we can assist to make their lives a little easier. So it's been kind of a long visit, long tour. But my father also served 20 years in the Navy, so I was a military dependent my whole life. And then I enlisted in the Army the year that my dad retired from the Navy, so it was kind of an Army-Navy family. It's kind of fun Army-Navy game every year. Last couple of years have been good for me. The last 14 or 15 years before that weren't so great, but I enjoy the military. I'm very patriotic. My family's very patriotic, and we just want to make sure that, we can help as many soldiers and veterans that we can to make their lives a little easier.
That's awesome. So tell me what you're doing now. What kind of organization do you run?
All right. Operation Phantom Support is an active duty military and veteran based nonprofit. We help active duty military soldiers, any rank, any branch. All right. There's no rank requirements, no deployment requirements, all that kind of thing. We're not a post 9/11 nonprofit either. We help all eras of veterans. And we also assist veterans with honorable discharges. That's the only criteria. It's either active duty or you're a veteran with an honorable discharge, and you get automatic assistance with us with whatever we can do to provide you day-to-day living assistance. We're kind of more of a day-to-day living assistance nonprofit. We're not going to pay your bills per se, but we're going to help you save money so you can pay your bills. We're going to help you with groceries, food, birthday cakes, Christmas toys, backpacks for school, car repairs. If you have an adult special needs young man or young lady in your life, we can help them. We have a greenhouse program, just a whole bunch of things that kind of help with day-to-day living assistance. Nothing as serious as we're not going to pay your car payment or your rent or anything like that, but we're going to help you save money so you can make better choices. And hopefully you and your family will be able to progress your way out of, any kind of situation you might be in.
So tell me about some of the services that you guys offer down there. You hit on a lot of different things, but kind of give me the top two or maybe the top 3 or 4 services that your organization provides.
Well, our top 3 probably right now that have the biggest impact on most soldiers and veterans is number 1 is our food pantry, because it impacts about 800 to 1,000 soldiers and veterans come through our pantry each week, because we're open twice a week, all month long, so 8 visits a month. And if the soldier comes all the time, they get between $300 and $400 worth of food. So it helps them when they go to the grocery store now, because they're not buying everything they normally would have to buy, because they got it from us for their donation that they make once a month. Our next program is probably our birthday cake program. It's probably the next highest one. We do a lot of birthday cakes for military kids, ages 1 to 18. And that could be grandparents getting cakes made for their grandsons. If their grandparents want to get the cake for their granddaughter or grandson. So we do that. That program probably pumps out 75 to 100 cakes a month. So that one's pretty busy. And then the third one, which has the biggest impact on most families, is really the car repair program, our Operation Monkey Wrench. We assist probably 6 to 8 soldiers a month with car repairs. That program works a little different than most of them, because it's more of a, hey, you go get your estimate. Let's say your estimate's $1,000 at the shop we work with. You donate 30%, and then me and the shop take care of our charity, and the shop take care of the other 70%. So basically it saves you $700. So that's how we kind of promote it, that the soldiers know they have to be a part of it. Again, we're just trying to be a part of the solution, not the whole solution. We don't want them to be dependent on us. We want them to make better decisions and basically phase out where they don't need to get assistance from charities or nonprofits anymore.
So one of the things that really fascinated me about Operation Phantom is your buy-in program. That it sounds less like a charity and more like a buy-in co-op style membership. I think that's what it feels like to me. Maybe you could shed some light on that.
Well, here's the thing. Now, listen, like I said earlier, I did 20 years in the Army. I was a platoon sergeant, first sergeant. I was dealing with soldiers on a day-to-day level at the ground level, dealing with, hey, they couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. Then, of course, as soldiers and veterans, we have a lot of pride that can get in our way of asking for help, okay? So when I developed this nonprofit, I wanted the soldiers to be a part of their own solution, but also be able to know they're helping everybody else. So the reason we ask the soldiers and veterans to donate themselves once a month, it's just $20 once a month. That's all they do. And then they're covered for every program they need within our nonprofit that they need to use, they can use it, as long as there's funding available brought in from those donations. But the biggest key to it was I wanted that soldier or that veteran to be a part of their own solution. So they feel like they're giving to help themselves too, not only to help that other, like I tell the soldiers when they come in, I said, you see this line of soldiers and these veterans in this line that are coming in for the pantry? Your $20 donation not only is going to help your family, but it's going to help all those other 487 people that are going to be through this line today. So your $20 helped you, but it also helped 486 other families today. So that's how you have to kind of go about it. So you feel like you're doing more than just helping yourself. You're helping a family full of people. Basically, you're helping a battalion. Every pantry day, we're basically feeding a battalion worth of people. As far as families go, it's about 800 people and about 1,900 family members each day on a pantry day. So I wanted the soldiers to feel like they're a part of a solution, that we're all chipping in, we're all helping each other. We're just doing it all together. We're just kind of the Operation Transport, just kind of the conduit where the money comes in, and then we push it all right back out to them. So they're getting the benefits of their own donations, and that's how it works.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I thought was fascinating is you kind of jump over that stigma by saying, we're not giving it to you. You're buying in. You're buying into you're buying in. You're becoming part of your own solution. We want you to be a part of what's going to make your family have a better life. We want you to be a part of it, so you can be the husband, father, or wife or spouse, and stand up and say, mother, and stand up and say, I helped us get there. I mean, I did it. I was a part of that. It wasn't just Operation Transport doing it for us. We helped do it ourselves. So you can take some pride into that. And then on top of that, you can say, well, I also helped another 400 or whatever, a couple thousand family members every month because of my one donation. So, I was in the Army for 20 years, like we said, and every year for my 20 years, I donated to CFC and I donated AAR. I never got any information back from any CFC person I donated to. And I never used an AAR loan. I used to help my soldiers use them all the time, but
we all had our own opinions about AAR if you were in the Army. But the point is, I wanted soldiers to know that their donation is going to something that's better than just here's $20 and then you never hear anything else about it. I want them to see it. I want them to see where their $20 is going. I want them to see what it's doing for their own family. I want them to see what they know that it's doing for their neighbor's family if their neighbors join because they brought them in. I want them to know. I want them to feel proud of that they're part of this organization, that they're proud of what we accomplish every week with how many people we help. And I want them to feel proud of it.
So a lot of vets are getting out and they want to become entrepreneurs. They want to run businesses.
They do.
There's a lot that want to become nonprofit people because they have a mission in mind. They have an idea that they want to contribute back. Tell me about the challenges that you've faced starting a nonprofit, coming from uniform, that style of management, to managing a nonprofit.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm lucky because most of the people that work for me are either prior service note, they're veterans and or their spouses are veterans. So they kind of understand the military leadership style that I have. But it is a challenge because you're building relationships outside of the military network now. Now I'm building relationships with civilian companies or personnel on the civilian side in the Chamber of Commerce or a Rotary Club or wherever I might be. So it's a little different attack plan, I guess, because you have to go with things just a tad bit different because you just can't go in there because I'm wearing a certain rank. I'm going to get a certain amount of respect. I have to go in there and earn that respect through the relationship that I started to build. And that's what I have a lot of veterans that come in and talk to me and make appointments to talk to me about starting a nonprofit. And the first thing I tell them is this side of the world that we're on now, it's not like the Army where it was based on rank and based on position. Now it's based on relationships and how you treat people and how they feel you're treating them and vice versa. So you have to make the effort to make the people I'm going, like when I go to promote my nonprofit, I try to sell what I can do for them first. What being a part of my organization, donating to me, is going to do for their business or their whatever it might be. I just want them to know that I'm going to put the effort in too. It's going to be a handshake relationship. It's not going to be just give me, just give me, just give me. It's you got to work in this community, in our communities, to say, look, yeah, we're important. We do a lot of great things, but I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to help promote your business. I'm going to get people to come into your store. I'm going to do, or whatever it might be. But I teach those soldiers and those veterans that. I got a lot of soldiers right now that are coming out that are transitioning. Right now, I have a soldier that's been in here and started his own business with Pokemon cards and magic cards, whatever. But he doesn't have a business address. So I let him have the stuff delivered here. He picks it up from but I'm helping him, mentor him through. He's a young soldier, E4. Good kid, working hard, he's got a good plan, got a good business head. So it's just a matter of steps. And I'm trying to show him that you got to take steps. But this is about the relationship you build. It's about the give and take so that it's fair give and take and everybody's going to make something, do something. So that would be my most important thing to tell any soldier veteran. It's about relationships. It's not about money. Because if you're in it just for the money, then you need to really, get somebody, get a face of your company that can be the relationship person. Because if you're the money guy, that's cool. But money don't solve problems. Money doesn't solve everything. Relationships solve problems. That's what I tell all my peers or kids that come to me and the mentor. It's about the relationship you have with your business partners and all the partners you have. It's about that relationship. That's what's going to pull you out of the weeds, not money. Money can help. But in the end, it's about that relationship.
It's funny you say that because I think we've both seen that in the Army where the big Army has a tendency to throw money at problems, but there isn't a relationship between big Army and the soldiers and the leaders at that point where the rubber hits the road, where the problem is. And they keep throwing money. They'll throw programs. They'll throw PowerPoint slides at you, but there's no relationship.
Nope. And I think they do that. A lot of that here. And I'll tell you this, Rob, the thing about me, the way I live my life on two basic principles, two basic feelings, love and fear. All right. You either have a relationship, when you have a relationship with love, that means it doesn't have to be like love. I mean, like, you're in love with somebody, but like you just have a personal relationship. You have a friendship. You have a building, a way to build on something. Whereas fear, a lot of people like the big Army has a fear. That's why they throw programs and money at things because they want to fix a problem and they want to be reactive, not proactive, and go, what's the long-term solution? Why did they change uniforms so frequently? Because somebody up there is driving money trains to bet, hey, we can make that. It's not about what's best for the soldier and what's best for them in combat. They throw that in there because it makes them feel good about themselves. But realistically, let's just get down to it. It's about the brass knuckles. It's about the money. Because that's how our capitalistic government, our world works in America. It's about money making and stuff. And I got that. I'm cool with that. That's what I fought and defended and what you fought and defended. And, because it's the best country in the world as far as that aspect goes. But what we have to look at is like you're saying, yep, they just throw money at a problem because they think the money problem will calm everybody down and then they'll just deal with it later or whatever, instead of just addressing the issue and putting together a committee to figure out what's the best way to fix it. It probably isn't money. 99% of the time, it isn't money. It's, it's just leadership issues, you know what I'm saying? As far as the Army part goes. I mean, that's how I dealt with it. When I'd have a mission issue with a colonel or a sergeant major, whoever it might have been, it was about sitting down in their office and just saying, look, can I be real for a minute, sergeant major? And then you just go through it and you build that relationship. And then the sergeant major knows he can trust you. It's about trust. But the minute you're afraid of anything, like I tell guys all the time with road rage, you weren't mad at the guy who cut you off. You were scared for that split second because you lost control. And now you reacted out of that fear. Yeah, that fear becomes anger because that's the easy right, not the hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not the hard, or the easy left. It's not the hard right. It's just, I get that way. I know it's me because I know when someone cuts me off, I get angry like instantaneously. But then I tell myself, slow down, Nick. The guy didn't probably even see you. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Or he was talking to his wife but you're okay. Everybody in the car is okay. You're fine. But it was the fear that drove that emotional charge that makes me angry. That's how I deal with my PTSD. I tell myself, what am I afraid of right now? Why am I getting angry? Why am I getting angry? Why is my anxiety going up? And I look around, it's the noise or it's whatever. So recognize it, identify it, and grasp it. Doesn't always work because PTSD and anger kind of festers in you sometimes. But the point is, if you simplify your life down to a few things that you can control or you can at least manage to control, it makes things easier. And that's what I tell soldiers in a relationship. The only reason you don't like a person is because you're afraid of them for some reason. It doesn't necessarily mean to be physically afraid of them, but they might be smarter than you, know more than you about a certain area. They intimidate you because of it. So you get a fear in you. So you're afraid to talk to them to build a relationship. You have to overcome that fear and hope that person has they have a good heart and they have love in them and they can receive what you're asking and just work with you.
Hope you're enjoying this episode of the After Action Review podcast with John Valentine. Our goal is to always bring you value in the guests that come on the show. If you think we're doing that, then do us a huge favor and leave a 5-star review on iTunes. Those ratings help this podcast reach more folks just like you who support veterans and their businesses. Also, don't forget to pick up some Seabag Locker coffee from seabaglockercoffee.com. Those folks take their coffee very serious. We're talking roast to cup in as little as 4 days. Use promo code AAR and get 10% off your purchase. And since we're taking a short coffee break here, check out the Java Can. It's an all-in-one coffee brewing system so you can brew up your favorite Seabag Locker coffee anywhere in the world. From a short hiking trip to the peak of a mountain, you can brew a fresh cup of coffee anywhere using the Java Can. Go to javacan.com and use promo code AAR. Get 10% off. Take a selfie with your Java Can and tag us with that little @ symbol, the AAR podcast, and I'm going to send you a free bag of Seabag Locker coffee. Boom, just like that. All right, folks, don't forget about that 5-star review, and let's get back to John Valentine with Operation Phantom Support. Tell me about the moment you realized that this was your mission, that this is what you wanted to do.
Honestly, probably the day I retired, at my ceremony when I retired, because my heart, the reason I retired, because I promised my wife at 20 years I was out no matter what. And that's what I did because I'm a good husband and I follow the orders from household 6. But I knew I still wanted to keep paying it forward because there's guys stepping up and taking my place when I'm gone. And there's going to be guys and gals that are putting their life at risk for now my freedom, staying at home and not deploying ever again and not doing that. And in my heart, I told myself, because my first job, I was a drill instructor at a juvenile detention center. So I was still wearing a uniform, a drill sergeant hat, mentoring these kids to get out of the situation they were in. I did that for a year. But I was working with another nonprofit at the time on their board of directors, helping them make decisions on, taking care of soldiers and veterans. And it opened my eyes to, man, there's so many vets out there just struggling with simple stuff because they just made one bad decision or they made one wrong choice. And now they're stuck and there's nobody out there to help them, just kind of help them figure it out, but slowly drag themselves out of the hole without jerking them out of the hole. Mm-hmm. And then anticipating, what are they going to do next month? If I pay their bills this month, how are they going to pay their bills next month? If I don't give them tools to put in their toolbox so they can make it on their own now, you know what I'm saying? Or give them a venue. So, because we have budget guys come in, we have, lawyers that come in, we have a legal team that comes in a couple times a month to give them advice on any issues that are going for free. So we do a lot of things to try to help these guys manage their lives a little bit easier. And that's the most important thing. It's just these guys get more help, more assistance, not paying off things and not doing stuff for them, just making them understand that restricting their budget a little bit. Maybe get rid of DirecTV and just have air cable, or go get a Fire Stick, or go get whatever. But save that $200 for DirecTV and go get a $30 Fire Stick one time, and then pay your internet bill, and then you can watch TV however. But make better. You sacrifice. Your family sacrifice. Kids sacrifice. We all sacrifice. My family sacrificed. We got rid of DirecTV for months because it was just about saving money for a couple months to get everything caught up. I mean, and I use myself as a role model to Senior E7 got out, got a lot of money, got plenty of money. We all make mistakes. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It's decisions you make with the money you make that put you in the position you're in.
Yeah,
I got a lieutenant colonel that comes there. Him and his wife come to the pantry every week because he's got 3 kids in college, and they're all in big schools, and none of them have scholarships. They're helping their kids get through school. So they're struggling at home by themselves. So they come and get food. I don't judge them. Hey, that's smart. This is a venue you could use. Use it. I don't care what rank you are. We all have problems. We all are in different situations. So
I think
it's all about, helping each other.
That's a great lesson for the junior soldiers to understand that there's not, the Army may seem, and I'm sure some people do want to do their best to push that agenda that there is an elitism, that if you're an officer, you're rich, you're banking. And that's not always the case. As you go up in rank, life happens. You have more responsibility. You have kids that are going to college. You have kids that are going to school. That's something that I think would help humanize us across the ranks, and maybe kill some of that animosity. Maybe kill some of that grass is greener on the other side kind of thing.
Yep. I honestly believe that too. I think a lot of the pre-situation when you go in the military is that separation of both of us, the officers and the enlisted, and then you got the senior enlisted and the NCOs, and then you got the NCOs and junior enlisted. And it's like we set up these barriers, and you work at a job, everybody knows their pecking order, but it's not I don't know, it just doesn't. Because I know when I worked at the detention center, I was a drill instructor, but I had people in the staff above me come to me for advice. I mean, we just talked. I mean, it wasn't like it was, hey, what do you think, John? Or what do you think? We talk about it. It wasn't about, oh, Sergeant, I'm standing at parade rest. And I got the discipline part. I always understood the discipline part. It's out of respect and not at all. But,
I completely agree. I work in a facility. It's so weird because I work in a government entity, the JIDO guys. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Mm-hmm. I work with a bunch of retirees. I work with everybody from myself. I'm not a retiree, but I work with other guys that got out early. Retirees. I got guys that are still in the National Guard. Our leadership, we have a very open and direct rapport with our leaders, something that I did not experience when I was in uniform. I got out as a warrant officer, and I can tell you it didn't change. Even when I put on, different rank, I thought maybe the dynamics will change. Nothing changed. People still stayed within their circle.
Yeah, it's all in the schematic that you're built in. Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. And I wish we could I wish we could take the JIDO model. And I'm sure anybody that works at JIDO is probably listening to me rolling their eyes in the back of their head. But, I do like that dynamic, the way that we can interact with each other. I wish we could push that down to the military. I think that would solve so many problems. And even some of the issues that you're talking about with finances, being able to talk to each other and have those open dialogues like, hey, Sergeant, I got a huge problem. Or before I get into a problem, having that open dialogue to say, I have a critical decision coming up. What do you think? Without the repercussion of being blasted, or judged. Yeah.
I mean, that was big in my unit. I had a lot of good NCOs that worked for me when I was a first sergeant and a platoon sergeant. And my soldiers were actually pretty good about, hey, Sergeant V, I want to go buy a car. What do you think I should do? Or we want to get SUV. Hey, look, let's go. You want me to go with you to make sure? You don't mind? Yeah, I don't mind. We go. And again, it comes back to relationships. I had a private, listen to me. Before I deployed to Afghanistan, I was stationed in Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. And we're getting ready to deploy, and I get this young PFC that come, not really that young, he's probably 27. Used to be a master electrician. He came in because of 9/11. He lost a friend at the towers. Great kid, Brandon Froneman. We're friends to this day. Okay, we're friends. He calls me now, we talk. I'm actually going to be the best man at his wedding in July. Flying him up to Chicago to help him out. But the point is, this kid came in, master electrician, probably the smartest kid I ever been around as far as just picking stuff up, right? Boom. Anything with a computer, he knocked it up. But I would sit down with him and have a long conversation about what did he think we should do with this situation. If he was given this situation, he was me, and da-da-da. These kids, man, people don't realize some of these kids that are coming up with this new social media type of world, the information inside of their head is so cluttered and so much that sometimes it gets, some of those kids just overwhelms them. But some, it narrows down their track and they're able to really hone in on things they're really good at. I mean, now the kid's got a PhD in biology and he works for Pepsi and the kid is he's a beast. He's a beast. He's a good kid, good man, good husband, good father, good, all that stuff. But I learned a lot from that young man. And, we were stationed in Afghanistan together for a year, went through a lot of stuff together, a lot of trials and tribulations and torment over there. But if leaders are afraid to look because he's a PFC and think just because he's a PFC, he doesn't know anything, just because of his rank, because they're thinking military, I'm an NC, I'm an E7, he's an E3, you don't know nothing. But wait a minute, Sarge, he might know something you don't know. If you don't know, unless you talk to him. And that was my biggest issue in the Army, that our leaders never took the time to get to know their soldiers, like know them. They didn't get to know them. They might meet their wife, but they don't get to know them. They don't take the time to do it. I try to take the time. My Facebook pages, most of my old soldiers are on there because they still touch base with me and we talk. They need something to reach out. What do you think, Sergeant B, what I should do? Well, try this, try that, whatever. But, the Army, the military in itself, I would never change a day of my life in the military. I wouldn't change it for anything just because it taught me so much. But, you take the good and the bad of everything, right? So, I learned so much from the Army. I honestly, my life wouldn't be the way it is right now if I didn't have that background and that camaraderie and that type of attitude about life. But it also taught me some things that I need to look out for in people. You know what I'm saying? It taught me to look out, because I get a lot of soldiers and veterans that come in here and try to be slick and get over. You know what I mean? I got to call them out on it right in front of God and everybody, because that's not what we're here for. If you need something, tell me the truth, what you need, we'll work with you. If you lie to me, you're done. You know what I'm saying? Cut and sling load, you're moving out. So, the military teaches you a lot of great stuff, but it can also set you up for failure if you're not prepared when you get out. Because if you take the attitude like I was an E7, you take the attitude like I'm an E7, I know everything and I'm going to get out, you're going to get crushed. You're just not going to get the support you need because people think you're arrogant, all the other stuff they're going to throw at you.
How prepared did you feel for the world of entrepreneurship?
I think I was pretty well prepared. I think I'm a good idea guy. I'm one of those guys that come up with 1,000 ideas for businesses. Like, I just sat in a meeting with a guy that I helped sponsor his basketball team. I'm like, dude, we got to make some adjustments to your stuff. So entrepreneurship is, I don't want to call it my calling. I think my calling is more like I'm more of a guy that can assist your business with plans and ideas to make it stronger and better. I'm not the guy that's necessarily going to come up with the idea of the business. I'm the guy that's going to come into you afterwards and be like the guy that helps you get it cleaned up, organized right, leadership set in place, attitudes right, policy things that are put in place to protect your company and your stuff. I'm more of that guy because that's what I did in the Army. I ran a lot of S3 shops, I run a lot of 3 shops, a lot of battalion, brigade level. So I'm more of the organizer guy and the guy that gets things straight for you. But in doing something like this, like running this company, running this organization, it's taught me a lot about the other steps that have to come with it, like the hard work that it takes to. There's a lot of hard work. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of work. I put 68 hours a week into this joint, and that's just here physically. That's not kind of what I do at home with my wife, and she's sitting on the computer. I'm sitting on the computer trying to get stuff done. Because mine's family oriented too. I'm telling you, my father works for me, my mom, my aunt, my wife. I got a lot of family around me too to protect my interests. Because unfortunately, when I first started, a lot of people were stealing from us and doing things that just weren't cool. So I thought, but we'll get to that point. But I tell you, man, being an entrepreneur is that's a wonderful thing about America. It's a wonderful reason why it gives me even more pride that I was a soldier, because now I'm out and I can take advantage of all the things that we provided for our civilian counterparts to have while we were doing what we were doing. Now I can be a part of that and be a part of the community that way, where I can give back to the community, but also, take care of my family and not be a burden to anybody, so we can do stuff. So it's good stuff, man.
You just hit on something, people trying to take advantage of you as a new entrepreneur.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
Well, you just get people that come in and they try to, BS their way through things, that they need this and then whatever, and they're trying to get more than what you're really prepared to give them. Mm-hmm. But they're acting like they get a little dramatic, and they get, and working mental health and working as working into more, I can see it right away with personalities and stuff and body language. But, I see it, but I see it even more with the business guys that come to me. You know what I mean? If they're not being upfront with me or whatever, I can usually read them pretty quick. But see, I'm the type of guy, being an old NCO like I am, I'll call them out right on the spot and just get that over with right now. Let's just see if we can get past this. We'll address it. Hey, don't do that, dude. You know what I'm saying? We're not there. Me and you ain't got that relationship yet. Stop. If we're going to continue this relationship, let's build to it. But let's stop before you cut your, cut your nose off to spite your face, because you're about to do that with me. And I don't go backwards. I only go forwards. You know, so I'm a big person. I'm one of those guys. I don't look in the past. I don't look at other than learning from my mistakes, but I don't look back and see, oh, it could have changed. It's over. I can't change it even if I wanted to change it. But what can I do now to make sure that doesn't happen again? So that's what I would tell every entrepreneur. Make the mistakes. Make mistakes. Don't be afraid to make mistakes financially. Don't be afraid to make mistakes in relationships, because you won't learn anything if you don't make the mistakes.
Right.
You might learn some, but you learn more when you make a mistake, because you focus on the mistakes and you're kind of hard on yourself usually when you make a mistake. When you're doing stuff good and everything's rolling, you forget about things. But when you make a mistake and somebody screws you over or somebody does something to hurt you, you pay attention to that, so you learn from it. So that's the next time you get to the next guy or gal, that problem won't come up because now you're prepared for it. So that's another thing I tell all my young entrepreneurs. Don't be afraid to take risks and make mistakes, because you learn from them. You put that in your book. You got it. You're good. So go get it. Go after it. Make your plan, put down your date, do all your stuff, get to your goal. But don't be afraid along the way to screw up, because you're going to do it. We all did it. I've done it. Trust me. I've done it plenty of times here and been like, damn, that hurt. But we got to clean that up, move it out, readjust it, and go. Because we've changed policies here. We've changed things because the way things were written really fast. And see, now I've learned I have 4 people review anything before we post it. I have my old English professor. One of the ladies here is like an English professor. She's like a book. So she's the first person to read it, make sure the grammar's right. And then I got people to read it just to make the common sense part, then the factual part. And then, so I've got 4 people that check every document that leaves our office before it goes out, so that I know we've done our due diligence to make sure. Because I used to put stuff out like right on Facebook before I thought. And then I'm like, get the gun, shoot myself right in the foot because that was stupid. You know what I'm saying? Oh God, here comes the overlash. And then here we go. Boom. So yeah, it's definitely a learning experience.
Tell us, if I want to learn more about Operation Phantom and I want to learn more about you and your organization, what do I do and where do I go?
Well, we have our Facebook page is just Operation Phantom, which is probably the most interactive, because we're pretty good about answering questions on there relatively quickly. I got a girl that I brought on that she's running my social media now. So we're actually pretty responsive on social media. And then of course our webpage is just www.phantomsupport.org. And there's a nice video on there now that we did a commercial. We had a guy come in and help us do a commercial. So it kind of rolls through the charity, what we do, how we do it. So you get a good video. It's about 1.5 minutes. So it's not too long for all you social media people. So you can stay within that window. It's under 2 minutes, but it gives you a good idea of what we do. And then all the programs are on there, so you can check out our different programs. Because our next big thing that's coming up right now is our Operation Resupply, which is our backpack program for kids for school. That's in August. So that's our next big giveaway. We do about 500 kids every year. We give backpacks to for school to help their families subsidize their costs for getting ready for school in September. So that's our next big one. We'll have a few other little things, I'm sure, going on, fundraising and stuff. But that's our next big program giveaway is our Operation Resupply. So, but that's where you find us, just phantomsupport.org or Operation Phantom Support on Facebook.
All right. Perfect. Awesome. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. And I want to thank you again for doing what you're doing right there in Killeen. Although I'm not a big fan of Killeen.
I don't blame you. Brother, I thought when I retired I was going to San Antonio because my wife's San Antonio. I thought I was good going back to Fort San Antonio. But my wife's like, negative, Ghost Rider. The kids are doing it at school. We're staying our butts right here so they can finish. I said, all right, you're right. So we stayed. But it's a challenge living here. It's grown. It's grown. But you're doing good work and you're doing the work that, we are that needs to be done, especially there. That is a special place that needs more people like you doing the right thing for the right people. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Awesome. It's a real honor to have you guys on. All right, man. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, folks. Like I said before, get involved. No other way to put that. Military families, civilians, they need your help around the Fort Hood area. Go to phantomsupport.org and donate. It's that easy. There's also merch there you can buy to support this terrific organization and learn more about how you can help. If you're in the Killeen area and want to volunteer or donate, check out that website first. This is a great cause, and they're running this in a way that treats people with dignity and respect. And I love it. Don't forget to pick up some Seabag Locker coffee. The best way to brew that coffee is with the Java Can. Go to SeabaglockerCoffee.com, thejavacan.com. Use promo code AAR. Get 10% off your purchase. Leave a 5-star review on iTunes if you think we've earned it, which I think we did. I mean, we got a week with 2 episodes, and we're tackling hunger. I think we earned a 5-star review. All right. That's episode 41. Episode 42 coming to you next week. We are just shooting these episodes out, and I love it. We're getting the word. We're getting the message from these amazing veterans, successful veterans, these veterans who are putting it all out there, learning, making mistakes, being successful, and they're bringing those messages, those lessons learned to you. What went right, what went wrong, and everything in between. Next week, we're going to do some flips. Life Flip Media's Eric Mitchell joins me to talk about his experience in the world of media. And trust me, folks, those lessons are no joke. All right, I will see you at episode 42.